Hey, what's up guys? Knez here. As a part of my senior project, we're coming at you guys with a two-part series where we interview a former professional baseball player and a coach of a very successful high school program. They talk recruiting, weightlifting, and things you have to do to succeed at the next level. Without further ado, did I just say further ado? Without further ado, we got Eric Primetime Martin. Cue the intro. Alright, what's up guys? Knez here. We're out here in Ontario with former minor leaguer Eric Martin.
Hey.
We're gonna ask him a couple questions regarding weightlifting and college recruiting. So yeah. Coming out of high school, what made you decide to go to junior college and how'd you get recruited to Cal State Dominguez Hills?
Alright. What made me go to junior college was I wanted to stay draft eligible and not go straight to a university because I thought I was the next Will Clark. But the only interest in MLB about me was pitching. So I went to junior college and worked my butt off hitting and still didn't get drafted. Chances as a pitcher, but didn't want to do it. And so that led into 2 years of not getting drafted as a position player, and I had to transfer to Dominguez Hills. And ended up meeting Coach Wing at a high school playoff game where he was recruiting. He never saw me play, and he had me meet him down at the school for an interview. Never saw me play, didn't know anything about me. He drew me a map of where to meet, where at Dominguez Hills now is like the Home Depot Center. It was a dirt lot. I thought he was playing a joke on me. So I pull up, there's nobody there, and I was bored, so I get my bat out and I start taking swings and looking at myself in the reflection of the car because I love swinging a bat. And didn't know he was walking up behind me. Brings me in the office and says, "I don't know you, never seen you play. Somebody said you were kind of good, and people that like to take dry hacks on their spare time is probably somebody I like." He said, "How about books and tuition first semester, and if it works out, we'll just ride it out like that." And that was it.
So what's your overall approach or goal to every at-bat?
Well, honestly, and I don't know how anybody else thinks, but I was a guy, I would go 5 for 5 and go home mad. Because it wasn't 5 for 5 my way. You know, one of those doubles might have had some wrong spin. You know, another one might have flared. The other home run the wind might have helped it, or maybe a short ballpark. 5 for 5 my way is studying the pitcher, putting together a hitting plan, what percentage of pitches I'm going to attack. You know, until you get to 2 strikes, of course. Identify that pitch, get it, don't miss it, and drive it. And for me, I pathologically thought I could hit a line drive still rising over any crevice of any field in America. Now, looking back, was that true? Probably not, but I had myself brainwashed to think that. So I pretty much went home after every game, 4 for 4, 0 for 4, whatever it was, not satisfied and with work to do.
In the batting cage, what do you work on? Like tee or soft toss?
I work on it all. Now, when I was young, I like to see the ball fly, so I did a lot of live BP, which was good because, you know, flight of the ball tells the truth. Sometimes the cage doesn't tell you if you're hooking, spinning, doing this, but it really all is important with tuning in your swing, and I learned that way later, almost too late, because I did get turned back into a pitcher. You know, setting the tee up and learning how to adjust your body and still get to that pitch and put a swing and represent that pitch that you may not be doing correctly off of live BP or live pitching. And every swing is your most important swing in your life because it might be your last. And put pressure on yourself, have skin in the game, and that way when you get to a big spot, it's nothing new.
What advice would you give to a high school baseball player regarding preparation?
Advice I would give is that it goes really quick, and you need to learn at an early age to have goals and squeeze every drop of talent you have out of yourself. Every aspect, working on your running, working on your throwing, working on your strength, working on looking good in the uniform.
Yeah.
You know, passing the eye test to look recruitable, and also more so than in my day, grades.
Yeah.
Grades are your money. That's your leverage. If an organization needs to buy you out of some school, they're going to know it. Also, being able to balance and carry good grades while being a student athlete sets you apart from the rest. And have goals and have fallback plans, you know, but as a player, having to pathologically believe in yourself, there really is no fallback plan. because if you're giving yourself a chance for failure, you've already failed.
Don't ever play yourself. Don't ever play yourself. Congratulations, you played yourself.
How much weightlifting did you do as a college baseball player, and how much more important is weightlifting today than like back then?
Weightlifting was always important, we just didn't know it. Back in my day, they just kind of went on talent and work out your forearms and swing and run and do some sit-ups. We started finding out about weightlifting right around junior college, right around the end of it. So we started that, and you know, it's really hard to build a lifestyle on working out because you got to be committed. So I want to say right around my senior year of college is when I really got into the weights, and you start experimenting. Some guys grow faster than others. Some guys' bodies are different than others, and you could actually, send yourself backwards. And, I got a story about that when I started pitching. So yeah, very important. Wish I knew more. This game's evolving a lot. It's evolved a lot with pitching styles. Drop and drive, tall and fall, swing down, swing level. Now swinging up a little bit. That's all pitchers and hitters playing cops and robbers and trying to evolve and keep up with each other and figure out a way to beat each other. I really like the idea of how much powerlifting is being incorporated into the weightlifting program, even with baseball players, and they always said lightweight, and stay loose and all this stuff. Well, yeah, true, stay loose, but some of these synergistic clean and jerk movements and some of this stuff are really sport specific when it comes to us being an explosive linear and rotational athlete. So real important. Wish I did more of it, but it kind of passed me up, and my time was a little too late for that.
What do you think is the main source of power regarding hitting home runs and like power and everything?
Now that science is starting to get involved, and if you think about it, baseball, I mean, it's been around 175 years. It's still in its infancy, and it's still evolving. I mean, we can go back to where we were talking about, Nolan Ryan, Tom Seaver, drop and drive, and swing level, and swing down on the ball, and do all this stuff, and get backspin. Basically, proven science is 20 to 40% angles, launch angles off of bats produce the most hits and home runs, and knowing how to get your body in position to allow that to happen. And the legs are real important. Legs and core to make the arms go. When you use the right part of the muscles of your legs and you actually transfer the weight properly, I watched a guy, and it was physics, where a hitter would do a weight transfer, and if he weighs 200 pounds and there was a scale on his front foot, the scale would shoot up to 3 times his body weight. So that's some freakish gyroscope effect when the linear and rotational forces created by hitting cross paths. And that would explain why you could put a thing on the knob of your bat and it goes 27, 30 miles an hour if you're like a Mike Trout, but the bat head could be going 90 to 110 miles an hour. So it's truly the legs and the core that allow the hands to get through the path and through the ball.
So you were drafted as a position player and converted into a pitcher in the minors. Was there a change to your workout routine once you became a pitcher?
Yes, definitely. Pitching, you had to be real careful, building as much strength and trying to secure up the shoulder girdles and all this stuff to keep your shoulder intact and not so tight in the chest, and a lot of running, a lot of legs. And I actually learned a lesson. As I was growing into my man body and lifting and started looking good at the beach, I went into they called it a late spring training because they had a working agreement with a co-op team. So I was actually pitching there because I was too old to go screw up a ball, being an inexperienced pitcher. And I literally came in there and couldn't break 85. I was known to throw harder than that, and I was real tied up. And so I had to back off the weights and stretch out and get loose. And luckily I found it towards the end and started cracking the 90 mark and going on from there. So definitely different workouts for pitchers.
Is there anything you would do differently if you could go back in high school or college regarding weightlifting?
Oh, definitely. I would, if I could know what I know now and go back then, I would work on all aspects. I'll tell you a story. I wasn't known as a speedster. My best 60 time, and it was useless because I did it for the St. Louis Cardinals, back then, and it might as well have been hobbling around on one leg to them, because they were a big, speedy organization back then. I ran a 7, and that was my fastest 60 time. I was a senior, and I was about 22 years old, and I wish I could have ran it for the Cubs when I had a really good workout with the throwing and the hitting. Yeah. So anyway, I ended up getting into weightlifting actually after I was finished playing baseball. I had labrum surgery, didn't quite work out. I couldn't throw the same. That was the end of my short baseball career. But the rehab, I noticed the rehab made me look kind of good, you know, little shoulders popping out. So I got into lifting weights, and I had a knowledgeable roommate at the time who was a trainer, and we would do some good workouts. So I was, you know, squatting, leg pressing, hack squatting, walking lunges, doing the whole thing, and along with the upper body. And I got my little brother into a tryout, and he needed somebody to run with him to push the pace. Yeah. So I went ahead and jumped in there and ran with him. My brother was even slower than me. I wasn't even trying, and I ran a 6'9". And I was thinking, man, if I would have done this back when I was playing. So yes, going back, I would have worked on all aspects. The only thing I really liked about baseball was throwing and hitting, and that's really all I worked on. And that just wasn't going to cut it as a complete player that's going to make it to the big leagues. And I would have worked on all aspects: speed, agility, defense, obviously continue to hit and throw, and just cover all aspects of the game and squeeze every drop of talent you have from all aspects of the game that's going to make you an asset to a team.
Since you were known for having like a really good arm,
Mm-hmm.
did you do any like specific exercises to like increase arm strength?
Yeah, I would, and at the time I didn't even. It could have been counterproductive, but I just would watch pitchers that threw real hard, and I would repeat what they would do on their bands, and I would watch pitchers in the weight room and do their workouts with the light shoulders and the light arms and the triceps. Hand grip, hand strength was a big thing in my day, and basically just loving to throw the ball and practicing. You know, if you didn't have anybody to play catch with, get a bucket of balls, get out to your position in the outfield. Simulate going down, coming up, crow hopping, and I would literally brainwash myself into thinking I could throw it this high off the ground, 4 seams, backspin, till somebody stops it. And I just worked on it, and was never satisfied.
Did you do any long toss or anything?
Yeah, long toss is a pitcher.
Yeah.
And I found that to be real nice, and a way to make the body work and let the ball come out of the hand stress-free. Full wind-up, and now you're talking arc. You know, so if you're playing long toss with a guy 220 feet away and arcing it, you know, you can do the math on the feet in between versus in the glove, and any little tweak in your release would be magnified at that stage. So if you could, work on from the floor out through your hand and hit the guy in the chest and control it and soft toss, when you got on the mound, you felt like you could just set it right in the glove. Yeah. So along with the stretching out and building the arm and being able to use the body and throw without stressing your arm in between competition, for me, it really helped with the release point.
Yeah, guys, that was Eric Martin, former minor leaguer for the Giants. I hope you guys could get something from that interview, being a professional athlete or a baseball player. And if you enjoyed what you saw, comment, like, and subscribe. We're going to do a couple more interviews to give you guys, the viewers, some knowledge. So yeah, see you guys next video.